Hey everyone! Thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know if you're watching in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Just making sure you are hearing me all right before we get started. I can see some of you jumping on right now. Awesome. Okay, so we have Ebony here, Elle's here. Amazing. Hey you guys, thank you so much for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and go do the intro because this is being recorded for the podcast. And if you hear me do so the intro and the outro, that's just for the recording. I'll be on after this for questions. So make sure you put your questions in the comments and I'll be answering them during the video and afterwards. If you're watching the replay, put replay in the comments, say hi, let me know if you're here. That's my dog hacking up a little bit. I have an older dog, so if you hear him, I'll just stop a little bit so I can start again. Hey Heather, hey Kwania, how are you guys? Hopefully you guys are doing great. So, welcome to the Spark Show. In this episode, I'll be talking about how to be more confident on camera. Now, as influencers, we need to be visible and we need to show up for our audience. So in this episode, I'll be covering the 3 things you need to have more confidence on camera, the number 1 shift you need to make when you're putting yourself out there, and my top 2 tips to make your on-camera experience better. Now, if this is the first time you've watched any of my videos or listened to my podcast, my name is Gwen Lane and I help digital influencers grow their income, influence, and impact. So I go on camera a lot as an influencer on my channels. I go live here in my Facebook group, on my Facebook page. I work with brands where I've had to go on camera. I also worked previously as a media spokesperson in one of my previous jobs. So I had to go on TV, do radio interviews, and it was such a great experience for me because I was able to go through some real professional media training similar to the ones that hosts and anchors go through so that they can communicate effectively on camera. Things like, how to create talking points and where to look and what to say, how to read from a teleprompter, all those stuff. So all of that were skills that I actually learned from my corporate job. And so I was able to transfer those skills pretty well into the influencer social media marketing world. And I think it's such a great skill to have because we do have to communicate with our audience on a regular basis, if not daily basis, whether that's just with stories or with lives or anything like that. So I just want to go ahead and ask you guys some questions on where you are right now. So let me know, how confident are you from a scale of, let's say, 1 to 5? How confident are you in going on camera and talking to your audience? So 5 is you're super confident, you could turn it on at any time and go live and you have no problems. And 1 is you're scared, you maybe haven't done it yet, you kind of don't know what to say. And then we have 2, 3, and 4 in between. So let me know in the comments, are you a 1 super scared or 5 super confident? Just want to see where you guys are at right now before we get into this. So we have Chandra with a 2, Ebony with a 3. Okay, so you guys are kind of in the middle. Have you guys ever done lives before, or have you not done lives before? I'd love to know how many times you go live, and give me a little more backstory. So Mariana says 2, I can talk in person, but on camera I'm so scared. Heather says 2, Kwania says 4, Vanessa says 2, 3. Okay, good. So we don't have any 1s yet, or maybe you guys are hiding because you're so scared to put it in the comments. But what I would just like to say is that, those are good starting points. There's always rooms for improvement, and that's a good thing. But the fact that you're listening to this episode or watching this video or listening to this podcast just makes me think that you want to get better, and you want to get better and improve yourself so you can have the skill to effectively effectively communicate. I mean, we all have heard it multiple times. Communication is a great skill to have in any industry, in your professional industry, in your relationships. Really, this is like the thing that sets you apart, I think, from being successful at anything you do. If you're a good communicator, you could sell anything, right? It translates into sales, it translates into marketing, it translates to, networking at events. If you don't know what to say or not an effective communicator, things get hard pretty quickly, right? And so Vanessa says she's never done live, used to be on stage, but weird to talk at a camera. So I'm going to give you guys the 3 things you need to do to be more confident on camera, and I hope these 3 things help you. They've helped me out incredibly, and I've learned them through my corporate career and into the influencer marketing world, where I have gone on camera, I have done on camera stuff for brands, and so the first thing that you need is purpose. So you need to know your intention for why you're going on camera. So if you're going on Facebook or Instagram Live or on stories, what do you want to accomplish? Don't just go live to go live. I see so many people that just like turn it on for some reason, and you're like watching, and I'm like, what's going on here? And nothing's going on. And I probably won't want to watch that person again. I might want to unfollow them because there's no purpose, right? You don't have to have a big reason or an event. It could just be to show them where you are. You're sharing something, you're sharing a thought or realization or a story, what's happening behind the scenes. But there should be a clear purpose and intention. Now, some people like to prep this up in the Instagram stories, where the first frame is something like, hey guys, I'm here, I'm going to show you around, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like an introduction. The purpose should be the introduction. And if you guys listen to this episode, I talked about, what I'm going to be talking about during this episode, and that is the purpose and the intention. So does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense that why you should have a purpose? Like, you shouldn't just push the live button just to push the live button. So people do that, and I'm like, what are you doing? And it gives you more confidence because you know what you're going to say. You know what you're going to talk about. You have a destination. You have a journey. You know that there's a point coming. You know that there's a point that you're trying to get across. So the first thing that you need to have more confidence on camera is a purpose. So the second thing is preparation. If you guys think that people go on camera, the professionals, and they haven't prepped or have talking points or gone through things several times, you're wrong, because behind the scenes, they have taken the time to prepare. Now, it's a little different if it's like, breaking news, and you can kind of see when the anchors and the reporters are not prepared. You can kind of tell right away. But most of them take the time to know what they're going to say and to create your main talking points. For every episode that I do, I have an outline and I know what I'm going to say. For example, I say, okay, I'm going to tell you the top 3 things, I'm going to tell you the number 1 shift, and I'm going to tell you the top 2 things. Those are my main talking points. And if you have that before you go live, it doesn't have to be a big production or anything, but it could be like, what are the 3 things that you're going to talk about? You're going to do an intro, and you're going to prepare your 3 main things. It doesn't mean you have to write everything down. It doesn't mean you have to have it all in your head. It doesn't mean it has to be all scripted out, but it means that you've done some sort of preparation, even if it's just 5 minutes beforehand. Like, before you even go live, take a minute to figure out what your purpose is and to do some preparation on what you're actually going to say. You don't want to be wasting people's time. People are busy. You want to get to the point. You want to tell them what they're going to get out of watching your live. You want to give them an incentive to actually watch the whole way through. So it's best to have bullet points or a list, especially in front of you, in a sticky note. I have my notes in front of me on my computer, so you don't forget. And you've seen people like where they're just kind of staring blank and they don't know what to say because they don't have notes in front of them, or they don't have a note card or a little sticky note or something like that. If you're doing it on your phone, you can have a little post-it note at the bottom of your phone that kind of just reminds you. You don't have to be reading from it. You could just look back when you need to refer on what the thing is that you're talking about. And being prepared is key so that you're not rambling, going off topic, and just there for no reason. Like, we've all watched a video where like, this video could have been, half as long, or it could have just been done for the first 3 minutes. Like, you don't want to just keep rambling and rambling and rambling, because we know that that gets annoying sometimes and we don't keep people's attention, and that's most likely it's going to lead them to not want to watch from you again. Like, I get straight to the point, and you want to make sure you know your purpose and intention and prepare those points so you don't miss anything. Okay, so does that make sense to you guys? Preparation, being prepared, taking that extra time before you go live to create and prepare those talking points so you're not just rambling on and wasting other people's time. I am a big believer, I respect people's time. I respect your time and respect the fact that you're here. I don't want to keep you on just to keep you on. Even my podcast episodes, like, they could probably be an hour long, but most of them are 10 to 15 minutes, because I know you're busy. You're just listening in between things. Maybe you're going for a walk or you're on break or something like that. I don't want to make it long just to ramble on if I have nothing else to say. And I feel like your audience will appreciate that more than if you're trying to just, fluff it up to make it longer. Okay, so the third thing is another P, because you guys know I like my alliterations. 3 P's, the 3 things you need to do to have more confidence on camera. The third one is to practice. Now, the best way to be more confident is to practice. Remember when you first learned how to ride a bike or rollerblade? It's the same exact concept. At first, you're shaking, you don't really know what you're doing, but as you practice and do it more, you get better and better. You can't really expect to be good at something the first time around, right? And that's the whole concept of experience. Now, some of you barely go live and you think that, okay, I'm going to get better by not going live, which is completely the opposite of what's true, right? You want to get better, but you're not going live because you're scared to go live. But then that means you're not going to get better, right? And so the only way to get better is to keep practicing, right? So whether that means you put yourself on a schedule of going live once a week, being on camera, and starting to practice. And of course, if you have a purpose and you know why you're going live and you've prepared yourself, then practice is the execution, right? The implementation, the execution is the most important thing. And if you don't go live, then your audience is not going to hear from you. You need to be visible. You need to show up. You need to create that connection. And so I want you guys to commit right now to going live at least once this week to start practicing, and you're going to make sure that you know your purpose and you're going to prepare your talking points ahead of time. So let me know if you are 100% committed to going live this week, anytime between Wednesday through the next Wednesday. Let me know in the comments. Everyone who's watching needs to put 100% committed. I'm calling you out, and make sure that you do this, because it's not for me. I don't care. It doesn't benefit me if you go live, right? It's for you and for your audience. And so this is really what you need to do. So put 100% committed in the comments if you are going to go live between now and in the next 7 days. And again, you just have to find one thing that you are going to put as your purpose, whether you want to talk about Labor Day weekend, whether you want to talk about, something that you're doing with your kids. If you want to teach your audience something, okay, we have Kewanya, 100, Jasmine said 100% committed, Mariana's committed. Awesome. Great. So even if you're watching the replay, make sure you're participating in the comments. I want to know who is engaged and actually watching these lives. I do look back, and if you have questions, put it in the comments and I'll go back and answer questions later on. Okay, so just to recap, the 3 P's that you need to do and practice to have more confidence on camera is purpose, preparation, and practice. So we talked about all those 3 things in detail. Make sure you do them before each live or every time you go on camera. This doesn't mean just on your social channels. This means like if you're doing a YouTube video, if you are doing a live somewhere, any possible way, even a speech, right? Like if you're speaking at a networking event or something like that, this is what you really actually need to do. It's anything that has to do with communication and public speaking. So now let's talk about the number 1 shift you need to make when you're putting yourself out there. So first, why is it that you may not be confident on camera? So let me know in the comments, why is it that you may not be confident on camera? For most people, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, it's because of fear. And most of the time you're scared of what people will think and say. It's usually the fear of judgment. You're scared that, what will people think about me? I don't know how I look. I don't know if I like how I'm gonna look. I sound weird. I'm not good enough. Jasmine says because I'm awkward. There's all these things that you start thinking about yourself, right? And most of us are scared of being judged until you've already accepted that you're already being judged, right? You're being judged already no matter what. You're being judged when you walk down the street. You're being judged at work. You're being judged on camera. You're being judged on Instagram. So if you already know you're being judged, does it really matter if you're being judged when you're live or on camera? And that's the reality of it. It's not wrong. People can't help it. Like, people can't help judging. You judge as well. So why wouldn't you want to be judged for trying to do something good, like delivering value and helping others and helping your audience, right? You're already being judged. So now you get to make the conscious choice. I'm going to be judged no matter what, but I would be okay being judged if it means that I get to communicate with my audience, connect with them, you guys, and deliver them value, right? So like, if I was so scared about being judged today, I wouldn't be able to give you these tips on how to be more confident on camera. So I have to be able to get over that fear of what other people are going to say who don't even care about being on camera, so that I could deliver the value for the people that I'm trying to serve, which is you guys. And so I need you to apply that to yourself and your own audience. Are you going to let the fear of being judged by people, because it's already happening no matter how scared you are or whatever you do, or are you going to overcome it and go on camera anyway, right? And so that's one part of the shift. Right? You need to understand that you're being judged anyway, and your fear of being judged is already happening. It's already coming true. We can't control what other people do. We can't control people judging us. But if they're going to judge us, might as well judge us for trying to help others and for showing up for people. And maybe it's not the right message for them, and that's okay. You're not talking to them. Okay? So does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that's starting to help you, right? Because you are already being judged. You're being judged now. You're being judged wherever you go. People judge you everywhere. We are just that nature. That is humanity, right? And so if you're scared about that, I'm not sure why you're going to, stop yourself from doing something that you want to do if you're going to help someone in the process, right? Okay, now the second part is that while you're worrying about you and how you look and how you sound and your voice and feeling weird and being vulnerable, and Jasmine said being awkward, the bottom line here is it is not about you, right? Let me repeat that. The bottom line is it's not about you. You're so, into being worried about you and how you sound and who blah blah blah. That's your ego talking, right? That's your ego talking. That may sound harsh, but the minute you accept that, it's the minute that you're free. Does it really matter what you look like if you just said something by going on camera that just changed someone's life? Does it really matter what you sound like or the clothes that you're wearing if you made someone feel less sad, nervous, anxious, or depressed? So do you think someone would care about your video quality if you just said something that made a profound impact in their life? For example, do you guys care what I'm wearing right now or what I'm saying, or more than what I'm saying? Do you care about, how my voice sounds like or something like that? Or do you care about what I'm going to say to you and what kind of value I'm going to deliver? So you need to shift the thinking that it's about you. When you start being scared about, oh, I don't like my voice, or I don't like how I look, or blah, 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 that means you're making it about you. It's more about being selfish, and you're playing into your ego. Now, I don't want to be judgmental towards you about this, but it is something that comes up, and unless you're aware and you consciously shift that to, it's not about me. It doesn't matter how I look. My message right now needs to go out because someone needs to hear it, regardless if I will have makeup on or not. Right now, maybe you'll feel more confident with makeup on. I usually do, but it really, that's not what matters. And if you're going to keep that and let that stop you from going on camera, then it's never going to work, right? Because this industry, this business is about helping others, right? Being visible is not about being visible for yourself. Being visible is about showing up for your audience and the people that you need to help, right? Okay, so you got to stop caring so much and care more about the people you're going to help versus what you think people are going to say or think about you or how they're going to judge you, because you need to get your message out there, right? You're here to help people. If you're here to help people, then you need to cut that out. Cut the ego out, cut the ego talking, cut the selfishness, because that's all it is. And so let me know if that makes sense to you. Now, a lot of people are like, oh my God, she's so harsh. Like, I'm not selfish. But you are, because you're keeping your story and message to yourself because of how you look or something that you don't like about yourself, instead of putting it out there on camera live to your audience who would love to hear what you have to say, right? Like, if you are able to help someone regardless of how you look or what you think about yourself, that's what's the most important thing. Okay, so Jordan says, makes sense. Kalpana says, what value you're sharing is important. Mariana says, yes, definitely helps. Might as well try if you are judged either way. So do you see the shift here? These are all about shifting beliefs, right? I'm a big believer in mindset and shifting your beliefs, because we believe that, oh my God, I'm going to get judged. And I'm like, wait, you're already getting judged. So what's the difference, right? And, oh, I don't know how I look. I'm awkward. Well, guess what? Your followers follow you because you're awkward, right? So show up and be awkward so that they can feel good about being awkward too, right? So, you're hiding and you're playing it small, and it doesn't help anyone. So I want you guys to stay true to your commitment of going live this week, whatever it is you're thinking about yourself, because you're going to shift that belief right now, right? You're going to shift that belief that it's about you when it's not. That's the ego talking. That's the lower brain talking, saying, oh, it's all about me. Oh, my makeup, I don't have makeup on. I don't look good right now. No, you need to cut the crap out. This is me being your coach and slapping you virtually in the face, saying, you have a story. You have the opportunity to help someone right now. Are you going to do that, or are you going to say yes to fear, or are you going to say yes to courage? Okay, so let me know in the comments. Are you going to say yes to fear or yes to courage? So put courage in the comments unless you're still scared. If you're still scared, you need to watch this live again or this episode so that you can figure out what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so you're going to do the 3 Ps, right? You're going to do the 3 Ps, purpose, preparation, and practice. I'm going to wait for Pootie to calm down really quick here so my editor doesn't get mad at my audio. So we talked about the 3 Ps, purpose, preparation, and practice. The 3 things you need to do to have more confidence on camera. And then we talked about the shift that you need to make, the beliefs that maybe you're thinking about right now, the fear of being judged, which is already happening, and it's not about you. I'm going to say that over and over and over again. It's not about you, okay? And the minute you say, well, what if someone says this, or, oh, they're going to judge me, that's all ego talking, and you need to check yourself and be like, wait a minute. I need to show up for my audience. I need to help people. This is why I'm doing what I do. It's not because of me, and it's not because I like how I look on camera. It's because I want to help people, and I have that opportunity, and I'm going to take it whether I'm scared or not. And we talked about fear. I've talked about fear a lot on the podcast and here on the lives and in the groups. And fear is never going to go away. It's just a choice if you were going to let fear handle you, or if you are going to handle your fear. Okay, so let's talk about the last thing that I want to talk about today, which are the 2 tips to make your on-camera experience better. This is more logistics wise. The first thing is lighting. You know, if you're in a dark room, then of course you're gonna look bad because nobody can see you, right? And so you want to make sure that you are making it as easy as possible. I use natural lights most of the time. In my office, I'm in my office right now. I have a window right here. And this is an artificial ring light right here on the left so that my face is evenly lit. And so if you don't have a ring light, definitely get one. It's the best investment for all influencers out there. You can get a mini one that just attaches to your phone. You can get a big one like I do because I use it for recording videos on my computer and all that stuff. So I definitely would invest in that. I also think that you should use a tripod when you can, because shakiness is not something that I like to watch if you're too shaky. If I'm on the go and I'm somewhere and I don't have a tripod, that's fine. People are more forgiving on that. I'm more forgiving on the quality on that. But if you do have like a set kind of like me, I use a webcam. I upgraded because I feel like it's so much better than my built-in camera. This is a Logitech camera that I'm using and the quality is really great, and so I like to use that. And then it's propped on top of my computer, so if you have like a tripod, you could put your camera or your phone on, so then you can, you know, use your hands and communicate effectively without worrying about holding it. I also use a gimbal so that when I'm walking, it stabilizes it. It's kind of like a stabilizer for my iPhone, and then I could walk and then it keeps it stable. So those are the 2 things that I think are gonna really up your game as far as quality. It's lighting and having a tripod. So 2 very inexpensive things that you can invest in. On Amazon, I just bought mine from Amazon. And again, like, it's not really about the lighting or the tripod. Those are just bonuses for you, right? I mean, you've seen people use tripods and why they use it, obviously, so that it's not shaky or anything like that. So it makes the experience better for your viewer. And also it helps that the viewer, the audience, could see your face, right? Because you can see the expression, you can connect with a person more when they can see your face. If you're in a dark room and you're trying to do a live, not so much, right? So hopefully all of this has helped you feel more confident to go on camera. And really the bottom line here is it's not about you, it's about the message and the story you are delivering and the person you're talking to on the other side of the screen. A lot of us forget that there's someone on the other side watching, right? And if you fail to recognize or remember that, you lose sight of what really matters here, right? You lose sight of what is actually going on and going back to the 3 Ps, your purpose of even going live and on camera in the first place. Okay, so that once you have all of that, it'll be awesome. Really, you just have to practice. I know a lot of you said that you're going to go live this week, which is great. I'm going to be answering some questions in the comments. I'm going to do the outro right now. So thanks for tuning in to the Spark Show, and I'll see you in the next episode. So that was just for editing purposes. For my lives, I like to answer the comments and be more interactive with you guys. That podcast episode will be available in the next coming weeks. Hopefully you guys are listening to the podcast. You know, like, I do interviews there and I do have solo episodes. And I talk a lot about these mindset shifts and these beliefs and fears, because that's really what stops a lot of people from showing up and being more visible and putting themselves out there. So do you guys have any questions about being more confident on camera? I think those tips are a great place to start. I know a lot of you guys are in the 2s and 3s. Some are even in the 1s. I asked you guys earlier, from a scale of 1 to 5, how confident do you feel on camera? So hopefully I want you guys to try these things out, and then hopefully that number goes up a little bit, and it'll just go up as you keep doing it more and more, right? It's not going to get any better unless you practice. So the sooner you practice, the sooner you can get better, right? And like, people talk about this all the time, where they're like, oh, I don't want to start an Instagram because I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, if you go figure it out, because the later you start, the harder it's going to be, right? The more times it's going to pass. So I want you to definitely put in the work, make sure you have the 3 Ps, get some lighting, get some quality, make sure your quality is good. If you want to upgrade your camera or use a tripod, those are some really good, easy things that you can do right now. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions, so hopefully that has helped you guys out. Let me know if that helped you out, if that gave you some value. Let me know in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put comments or questions in this post, and I'll go back later on to answer them. Okay, I'll see you guys. Bye.